Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and also via Skype online. 7 weeks of Buddha after enlightenment. 7 weeks of Buddha after enlightenment. Life is a gift to traverse with awareness. Life is so exciting when you are open to each moment and not asking where it is going to take me next. Then all problems disappear and nothing can harm you. However, the moment mind comes in saying, watch out, fear arises and life looks dangerous. Then you are forced to take calculated steps. I am speaking to you. Words are emerging. There is sound. There is vibration. And this vibration is measured in terms of hertz. The stronger it is, deeper it penetrates you. The words are not important. The intonation, the voice modulation, the rhythmic arrangement of words put together create a vibration which is measured in terms of hertz. It is this that works, not the words. In Sufi terminology, we call this tawajjuh, the energy field. So when Krishna played the flute, there was only the sound vibration measured in terms of hertz, the unit. It echoed. It reached the heart of Radha. She understood the message. While leaving Vrindavan for Mathura, Krishna gave the flute to Radha and said, from now onwards, this flute will not play. It was played for you. The message that emerged out of flute is for you. He goes, and in the battlefield, a similar vibes have to be created. When Arjun was in a state of inner conflict, what did he do? There he used the words and create the same energy field, the vibes. What was the frequency of that? Frequency that can penetrate through the deepest layers. I have observed recently, a few days ago, I had some herbs planted. Mint was planted in a styrotex tray. A few days ago, I noticed that one of the tender stem of the mint plant came out through a hole in the layer in the wall of Starotex. When I looked at the source, it did not come. It made its channel or tunnel through the layer of dirt and through the Starotex wall. Such a tender plant. Stem of the plant has so much of energy that it made a hole in the Starotex wall and came out, because everyone is looking to come out in the light, to emerge out of the problems, out of the darkness of life, to come into the light. Buddha's work had been pioneering in that field. On the full moon day, Buddha got enlightened. It happened that Buddha was crossing the Niranjana river to reach to the other shore. Niranjana river is a shallow, stony river. He was so weak and frail due to his penances and fasting that he could not even cross over the stony river. He fell. From the other side, a tree was leaning over the river. He held on to the branch of the tree and remained watching the stars in the sky disappear one after the other. And as the last star disappeared, something happened. Buddha attained to that which he was searching for. It was the full moon morning, and the enlightenment happened. Then he sat under the Ajapala banyan tree in the close proximity of Bodhi tree, which is in Hindi known as people tree. A generous woman named Sujata unexpectedly offered him some rich milk rice cooked in the milk, specifically prepared by her with great care. Buddha ate that subliminal meal, and after his enlightenment, Buddha decided to fast for 7 more weeks. These 7 weeks are very significant, and in Bodh Gaya, in the Bodhi temple, these 7 spots are preserved. After eating the subliminal meal, after enlightenment, Buddha fasted for 7 weeks more and spent a quiet time in deep contemplation under the Bodhi tree and its neighborhood. During the first week, he sat under the Bodhi tree to experience the happiness of freedom and peace that he attained after enlightenment. He was free from disturbing thoughts. He was utterly calm and blissful. Throughout the week, Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree in one posture, experiencing the bliss of emancipation. Vimukti Sukh. Vimukti means emancipation. Sukh means bliss, the fruit of arhatship. After those 7 days had elapsed, Buddha emerged from the state of concentration and in the first watch of the night thoroughly reflected on dependence that arises in a particular order. When the cause exists, there is effect. Cause and effect go together. And when the cause arises, the effect is bound to arise. Thus, he understood the cause of suffering in detail. In a particular order he spoke. Dependence on ignorance leads to moral and immoral conditioning activities. It is because of ignorance that you are divided between moral and immoral conditionings and activities. Your actions arise out of that. Dependence on the conditioning activities, consciousness arises in you. This links you. Dependence on conditioning activity arises, relinking consciousness. And when you depend on relinking consciousness, it gives birth to mind and matter. Mind, name and form. Mind and root and matter. Matter is of varied types. Dependence on mind and matter gives rise to 6 different senses. Is going in an order. Dependence on 6 spheres of sense arises contact. It is because of the eyes you contact the form through taste, through touch. These are all sense organs, senses through which you come in contact with the world of objects and beings. Dependence on contact leads to feeling, Vedana. Dependence on feeling brings craving in you, and dependence on craving arises, brings grasping in you, and with grasping a feeling comes. It becomes feeling. And dependence on bhav or becoming give birth. You are born in a particular. This is how the process continues. And dependence on birth comes in decay, death. When there is something is born, it must undergo the decay, death. That sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair comes. This is how sorrow originates. This is the cause of dukh, sorrow. This was during the first week. Second week, Buddha remained standing with his eyes wide open, and continued to gaze at the Bodhi tree that had sheltered him during his struggle for Buddhahood. Buddha stood there without moving his eyes as he meditated on the essence of Bodhi tree. Following this, there is a tradition amongst the Buddhists to pay respect not only to the original Bodhi tree, but also to its descendants that is still thrive today. Now there stands in Bodhi temple in Bodh Gaya, there stands a statue of Buddha in that gaze with eyes wide open. This was the second week. During the third week, Buddha saw through his mind's eye that the gods in the heaven were not sure whether he had attained enlightenment or not. To prove his enlightenment, Buddha created a golden bridge in the air and walked up and down it for the whole week. With his austerities, with his innerness, as he walked gently up and down, under his feet a lotus emerged. As a symbol, now there stands a lotus in black stone, symbolizing the earth became so tender because of his energy field that from under his feet a lotus emerged. Lotus blossomed. This was during the third week. During the fourth week, he created a beautiful jeweled chamber and sitting inside it, meditated on what came to be known as later as detailed teaching. His mind and the body was so pure that 6 rays of light emerged: blue, yellow, red, white, orange, and a mixture of these 5 that makes 6 lights: blue, yellow, red, white, orange. A combination of these 5 lights. Today, these 6 colors make up the Buddhist flag. Each color represents one noble quality of Buddha: yellow for loneliness, white for purity, blue for confidence, red for wisdom, orange for desirelessness. In modern light therapy, where light is infused through intravenous into the body for healing, these colors are used: yellow for brain, blue, red, infrared, green. These colors are used. This happened during the 4th week. During the 5th week, he was meditating under the banyan tree. 3 most charming, and beautiful girls. They were they were named Tanha. Tanha means lonely, because during such moments one feels lonely, and when you are lonely it is very difficult to maintain the desires. So the three girls named Tanha, lonely, Rati, the lust, and Raga, the rhythm, came to disturb his meditation. The three danced in a most seductive and charming manner to disturb Buddha from his meditation. They did everything to tempt Buddha to watch their dance, yet he continued to meditate undisturbed. And soon they tired and left Buddha alone. They failed. During the 7th week, there was a lake, and there is a tree, Mukalinda tree. Buddha then went and meditated at the foot of the Mukalinda tree. He began, and then it happened unaware. Buddha was unaware that it began to rain heavily, and rain heavily. He was under the rain. Then the king of snakes named Mukalinda came and coiled his body 7 times around Buddha to keep him warm, and placed his hood over Buddha's head to protect him from rain. After 7 days, rain stopped, and the snake changed into a young boy who paid his respect to Buddha. And Buddha then said, "Happy are they who are contented. Happy are they who are contented. Happiness is for those who hear and know the truth. Happy are they who are contented." Happiness is the fragrance of contentment. Happiness is for those who hear and know the truth. Happy are they who have goodwill in this world towards all sentient and insentient beings. Happy are they Happy are they who have no attachments and have passed beyond sense desires. The disappearance of the word I am is indeed the highest happiness. When the snake transformed into a young man who paid respect to Buddha, Buddha then gave him the message, happy are they who are contented. Happiness is for those who hear and know truth. Happiness is the fragrance of truth. Happy are they who have goodwill in this world towards everyone sentient and insentient, not towards those who favor him. Happy are they who have no attachments and have passed beyond the sense desires. And the disappearance of the word I am is indeed the highest happiness. Then came the last week. During this last week, Buddha meditated under Rajatan tree, and on the 5th morning, after 7 weeks of fasting, 2 merchants came into his presence. Seven weeks means 7 sevens are 49. So on the completion of the 7 weeks, that is 50th morning, after 7 weeks of fasting, 2 merchants came into his presence. They were called Tapusa and Bhalika. They offered Buddha rice, cake and honey and insisted on him to break his fast. Buddha told them, shared with them some of what he had found during the state of his enlightenment. These 2 merchants took refuge in Buddha and his dharma, which was translated into teachings of Buddha. They asked for a shelter. There emerged the prayer, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Thus these 2 businessmen became the first lay followers. There was no Sangh, order of the monks and nuns then. They called Buddha for something sacred to keep with them. Buddha wiped his head with right hand and pulled out some of the hair to give it to them. These hair, the relics called Kesh Dhatu, were later reputed to be enshrined by the merchants when they returned to their home, what is now known as Burma, the Myanmar. In the Shub Dong Pagoda in Rangoon, these relics are enshrined. Thus, 7 weeks of Buddha were spent in reflection and meditation. It always happens after one attains to enlightenment. One reflects what has happened during this period. When you are recuperating, during the process of healing, it is not time to reflect because there is pain and suffering. But when the night is over, you can reflect all that happened in the darkness, in ignorance. Many times desire comes, a thought comes to renounce life. Many times thought comes to end life, but the journey has to go on. Journey has to go on. That is why you remember life is a gift from God to traverse through with awareness. Traversing through awareness does not mean that you are only traversing through the moments of happiness. Whatsoever comes, you are traversing through those with awareness. Life is a gift from God to traverse through awareness. Indeed, life is so exciting. When you are open to each moment without asking where it is going to take me next, life is so exciting. When you are open to each moment without asking where is it going to take me next, only then all problems disappear. Only then all problems disappear, and then nothing can harm you. I can speak on the basis of my own experience and also the experience of all those awakened ones who have attained to awakening. Then all problems disappear and nothing can harm you. It does not mean that the problems do not exist, do not come, but they do not affect you. You had got the umbrella to protect you from the thunder and rainfall. However, the moment mind comes in and says, watch out, immediately fear arises and life looks dangerous. Then you are forced to take the calculated steps. It is up to you to live life as a gift from God, to traverse through with awareness, or guided by the mind and take few calculated steps. Choice is yours. I had shared with you the most precious moments, the 7 weeks of Buddha, a mystery after he attained to enlightenment. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.